Are you ready to dive into the mysteries of the unknown? Tune into the electrifying X-Zone radio TV show hosted by the one and only Rob McConnell.
I'm Rob McConnell, and get ready for a mind-bending journey through the unexplained phenomenon that surrounds us all. From UFO encounters to cryptids, ghosts, and everything in between, we've got it covered here in the X-Zone.
Rob McConnell, the seasoned investigator and renowned radio personality, brings you the most compelling interviews with top experts, authors, and experiencers from around the world. Each episode is an unforgettable exploration into the depths of the extraordinary.
That's right, X-Zone Nation. Join me every week as we open the door to the supernatural and explore the strange and amazing stories that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew.
And it's not just radio anymore. With our groundbreaking TV show, you can now witness the sessions unfold right before your eyes. From chilling reenactments to captivating visuals, prepare yourself for a multimedia experience like never before.
With a legacy spanning over 2 decades, the X-Zone radio and TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, is your ultimate source for mind-blowing entertainment and thought-provoking discussions. Join our growing community of truth seekers as we continue to unlock the world's mysteries.
So, why wait? Step into the X-Zone and embark on a journey that will challenge your beliefs, ignite your curiosity, and keep you on the edge of your seat.
Remember, X-Zone Nation, the truth is out there, and it's waiting for you right here on the X-Zone radio and TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell. Don't miss a minute of the action.
Tune in now on your favorite radio station or visit xzoneradiotv.com to join the adventure. The X-Zone radio TV show with Rob McConnell, where reality meets the unknown.
The X-Zone radio TV show, unraveling the secrets of the universe, one episode at a time. For more information, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com.
The following program may contain coarse language, violence, nudity, mature subject matter, or scenes which may not be suitable for all viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X-Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And welcome back, everyone. This is the X-Zone. I'm Rob McConnell. You're watching us on the X-Zone Broadcast Network and on Tuber, and listening to us around the world on your hometown radio, Classic 1220 CFAJ AM, right here in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada. This week, we have a special week. We're going to be talking to the great people who are going to be at the 2025 Halifax Paranormal Symposium. That's going to be held November the 1st. The first hour, we were talking to Elliot Van Dusen. He is the organizer, and he's also going to be the master of ceremonies at the PPRI event. And this hour, we're going to be talking to Terry Rathman, and we're going to be discussing Staticom. Joining me now from Phoenix, Arizona is Tony Rathman. And Tony, welcome to the X-Zone. How are things in Phoenix tonight?
Still warm. Luckily, those temperatures are dropping, but other than that, I can't complain.
Well, nice having you with us. And tell us a little bit about yourself and what brought you into the paranormal, the strange, the weird, the bizarre.
Well, I had absolutely no interest in it. It was my wife that, when the paranormal shows started to be released, she'd be watching them and she'd say to me, come sit down. You've got to watch this. I'd last about 2 minutes and then I'd get up and I'd look at her and go, come on, none of this is real. Yeah. This is for television only. And I'd walk away. Well, then back in 2010, it was Valentine's Day weekend. And I said, what do you want to do for Valentine's Day? And she said, I want to do something different. I said, okay, what do you want to do? She said, I want to go ghost hunting. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. But I had 2 choices. I could take her or have her mad at me until next Valentine's Day.
And if you're like me, a happy wife gives a happy life. Right. Okay.
I know that all too well. So I knew I had to take her. So I did some preliminary research online, happened to find a hotel in downtown Phoenix that had what I called, quote, reputation for being haunted. And I booked it. I thought, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
And then I started thinking back for the 2 to 6 minutes of shows I actually did see. They were using equipment, and I thought I gotta get her whatever they're using. So I got her a night vision camera, digital
Oh,
recorder, and EMF meter.
what a nice guy.
Yeah, well, I knew she wanted to do this, so we booked the weekend. We went. I
Mhm.
played along like I was having fun, and I
A
wanted
good
her to
husband.
enjoy it.
Yeah.
I wanted her to enjoy it. That was all I cared about. But it wasn't until she got the stuff home and she started going through it. And what captured my attention was EVP. It was 2 or 3 in the morning. We were running a digital recorder in the basement of this hotel, which technically we probably weren't even supposed to be in. But at 2 in the morning, there was nobody down there. Yet we were asking questions and getting responses with timing, relevance, and intelligence to the questions we asked. And that blew me away. For months, I tried to debunk it, couldn't do it. And to make a long story short, that's how this whole process now of 15 and a half years began.
I've been in broadcasting now for over 37, 38 years. You're right. I started when I was 2 years old. I'm glad you caught that. And I still cannot understand how EVP works. Because as a sound engineer and broadcaster, I know that in order to see something on a scope, there has to be somebody there talking in this side of the realistic world. And yet, you people who do the EVPs or the electronic phenomenon, I don't know if Staticom works the same way. The question is asked, you give a pause, and then you go back and you keep doing this until the end of the investigation that you're on. You go back and then replay the analog or digital tape, and there's voices. Now, please try and help me understand how the heck this works.
Okay. Well, we developed Staticom based on a theory that will hopefully explain EVP, ITC, or instrumental
Yeah.
transcommunication, which is what Staticom is. But basically, the first thing you have to do is you have to take a look at what you believe reality to be, both
Uh,
reality here in the 3D world and the afterworld. And, we started out ghost hunting and, chasing ghosts to get the clearest voice we could capture, because we knew EVP was possible. We knew ITC was possible. But in the process of hunting spirits, the one I found was my own. And although that sounds cliche, it's more than just my spirit. It is consciousness, and it is everybody's consciousness, alive or after death. And it is the existence of consciousness being the ontological primitive of life, meaning it's there before, it's there during, and it returns back after, which is how we believe these voices are coming through, how they're being left on a recorder, how they're being transmitted through the white noise of scanning radio stations. And now with Staticom, which uses only a white noise live generator, there is no radio involved anymore. That is how the vocals are showing up. And when you talked about sound showing up on a recorder, it's not through the mic, because these are not physical sound waves being produced by vocals. In fact, we ripped the mics out of recorders and we're still able to get EVP responses.
okay. How?
Okay. If you think in terms of, even if you go back to Tesla back in the 50s, who said, if you want to understand the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. That right there is the key to everything. It is the key to the voices. It is the key to consciousness. It is key to the development of the universe or universal mind, if you believe in that, or if you're religious, God, whatever terminology you want to place on it. But energy, frequency, and vibration is the only thing needed for them to leave a voice signature on a recorder through ITC or through Staticom.
Is it possible that the person who is conducting the investigation using these digital devices, including Staticom, are the ones responsible for the implementation of the voice, and that it has nothing to do with anything else? It's the person's belief that is actually being transmitted?
Well, if that was the case,
Mhm.
every Monday morning when I have the radio on and I'm driving to work,
Mhm.
my radio would be screaming, "Don't do this, go home, go back to bed." I've never heard it do that. When the voices can answer questions that I don't know the answer to,
Mhm.
that tells me it's some other form of intelligence, not my own. When my wife was sick one time and I asked, "Is my wife getting sick?" They answered yes. I said, "What should she take?" And they said some word I didn't even react to because I didn't know what it was. The word was Percodan.
Mhm.
When I looked up Percodan, Percodan is a prescription strength pain reliever,
Yep.
a combination of oxycodone and aspirin. I
Yep.
didn't even know what it was, but
Yeah,
that's the
and
answer.
the other side is Percocet, which is the Tylenol base with the
Correct.
oxy. Um, have you asked it any questions pertaining to who the voice is, where the voice is coming from?
Okay. Who the voice are? Yes, they'll answer one of two answers: spirit or consciousness.
Wow.
When I ask where they're coming from, that's a problem. Why is that a problem? Because the invention of something called time and space is a man-made construct. If they are of non-locality and time is not linear as we perceive it, asking where you're at and having them explain is like me asking you, "Rob, do you like ice cream?" And you say, "Yeah." I said, "Well, without using time, tell me when you had your last ice cream cone." Physical impossibility. You can't say yesterday. You can't say last week, last month. It's impossible. You can't answer it.
You and I have to take our first break. Food for thought. Fascinating. I
Thank
don't
you.
know when the last time I had ice cream was, to be honest.
Okay, well, maybe a beer then, or a whiskey or whatever. But
Now you're talking my language.
but
Tony,
the point
stand
is,
by.
yeah, you can't do it.
That's
It
right.
physically becomes an impossibility because that's a man-made construct, and
Tony
they don't.
Rathman, Tony Rathman is my guest, Exonation, and Tony's website is www.entityvoices.com. When we come back, more about the electronic voice phenomenon and Staticom. This is the X Zone. I'm Rob McConnell. We're coming to you on the Talkstar Radio Network, Mutual Broadcast Network, the X Zone Broadcast Network, Tuber, and your hometown radio, Classic 1220 CFAJ AM, streaming us on Classic 1220 CFAJ. No, it's classic1220.ca. I get that mixed up. It's because I'm thinking about the ice cream or the whiskey or the beer. We'll be back. Don't go away.
A spark, alien wonders lurking in the dark.
Are you ready for a tale that will leave you on the edge of your seat? Get ready to dive into the gripping memoir by Bart Sibrel titled Moon Man. Bart Sibrel takes you on a heart-pounding journey, unmasking the truth behind America's famous Apollo missions. Prepare yourself for hair-raising encounters with agents from the U.S. government's top secret agencies. In Moonman, Sibrel fearlessly reveals his real-life espionage adventures, shining a light on one of the CIA's best-kept secrets. Brace yourself for shocking revelations, including Sibrel's discovery of privately recorded audio exposing an Apollo astronaut's chilling plot, a plot orchestrated by the CIA. That's right. As Sibrel unveils this groundbreaking evidence, it becomes clear that there is much more to the Apollo missions than meets the eye. Could it be that we've been deceived all along? Moonman is a gripping page-turner that challenges everything you thought you knew. It's a mind-bending journey into the unknown, where the line between truth and fiction becomes blurred. Don't miss this opportunity to uncover the secrets hidden for decades. Let your curiosity guide you as you join Bart Sibrel on his quest to find the truth. Moonman, available now at Sibrel.com. That's Sibrel.com. Prepare to have your beliefs shaken to the very core.
NASA has confirmed that they have evidence of life beyond Earth.
This discovery is confirmed.
Well, let's see, we've had visitors again. Yeah. Anything worth mentioning?
I filmed 16 minutes on March 5th, 1994, 16 minutes of broad daylight UFO activity.
The other side, the spirit realm, is a parallel dimension which runs, which coexists with ours. And what spirits are doing is they're sending waves of frequency from that dimension to ours.
The government instituted the truth embargo. The government poured disinformation and misinformation into this field, encouraging hoaxes and any other foolishness. It created a truth vacuum that naturally was going to be filled with theories and assertions and other stuff.
The oil oligarchs and the banks and the people who are making decisions that are leading us down the wrong path.
They've undermined the research, intimidated and threatened witnesses. The government is responsible for the fact that the status of this issue was not resolved.
I'm Rob McConnell, host and executive producer of the X-Zone radio show. Now we are set to bring the amazing world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology to broadcast TV and online video with the development of X-Zone TV. X-Zone TV will now bring our loyal listeners and new viewers face to face with the most controversial and well-known personalities in the field of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology. From scientists to theorists, astronauts to adventurers, celebrities, pundits, advocates, and naysayers, they'll all join our rapid-fire TV broadcast, interactive discussion, and debate. Interest in the paranormal and parapsychology has never been more intense, and it continues to grow. The truth is out there, so take a deep breath and join us as we step into the light. For more information about X-Zone TV, please contact me, Rob McConnell, directly at these coordinates, Rob McConnell at xzonetv.com. Don't forget, Exonation, that on November the 1st at the Halifax Tower Hotel and Conference Center in Halifax, Nova Scotia, you can be part of something that is fascinating. It is the largest paranormal conference that is in the Maritimes. And of course, I'm talking about the Halifax Paranormal Symposium that is going to be held on, like I said, November the 1st. Elliot Van Dusen, who was with us earlier tonight, is the organizer and the master of ceremonies. And joining us this hour is Tony Rathman, and Tony's going to be there talking about Staticom. I find it totally amazing because I must say, out of all the aspects of the paranormal, it is the EVP that grabbed my attention more than anything else. Now, what you have discovered, could this explain psychic phenomena as well?
Absolutely. The way we believe that the voices are coming through, interacting with the electronics, and Staticom is very different because we wanted to take away all the low-hanging fruit that scientists, academia, and skeptics would say, well, wait, you're telling me you're getting voices from the other side, but you're using a radio. Okay, that's a perfectly good complaint. So we took the radio away, and then their other response was, well, you're hearing warbles and artifacts of sound, and your brain is made to pattern recognize and try to make sense of what it's hearing, but it's not speech. Well, we cleared the voice to where 99% of the people in the room hearing it will all hear the same thing. So that has helped get its validity on what they're hearing, how they're hearing it. It's not stray radio. We had it analyzed by a PhD electronics engineer and computer scientist. He came back and said, I don't see any signal being able to get into your system because it's a closed circuit system, except the white noise generator. So he said, do me a favor, encase that in steel in an EMI resistant container, wrap that in military grade Faraday material. He said, then ground it, but ground it into a pole shoved into the ground 1.5 feet in the ground. He goes, if you still get voices, let me know. Well, we did that. Guess what? We still have the voices.
Can the voices be heard using the Staticom anywhere in the world?
We are about to take it to the Philippines, and we're taking it obviously to Canada.
Yeah.
But I don't see why not. You can turn this on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and those voices are there. And you can listen to them talk to each other until you ask a question, and then they'll answer you. Without mics, without AI generated voice, without word banks, without internet, nothing.
What do they talk about when they talk to themselves, or to each other, I should say?
Sometimes they're having a conversation about what they did. Sometimes they're fighting. Everyone thinks, oh, on the other side, you're sitting on a cloud playing a harp. No, doesn't appear that's exactly true. Most of them seem in good spirits, but they will be having conversations about anything and everything, things we would talk about, personality disputes. It's amazing the similarities from what's experienced here on this planet. It doesn't appear, at least not in our research so far, that it's all that different.
Prior to the discovery of EVPs, psychics and mediums were able to communicate with the other side. How would they do it then?
Well, sorry, I guess I didn't answer your question originally. But if they can pass that energy, whether that be actual speech, vocals, or whether it be a feeling or an image or a sense of, something's wrong, if they can do that to electronics, if the medium is open enough or porous enough to accept that, open-minded enough to accept it, that's how we believe it occurs. It is energy, frequency, and vibration being sent to a piece of an electronics or to an individual. If that individual has the ability to accept that signal, interpret it, decipher it, and then explain it, there's your psychic ability.
Have skeptics sat in front of your unit, and do they get the same audio clarification that believers would get?
Yes, but they may get some sarcasm or ejectment.
Really?
In fact, we had a psychic come up one time during an open public demonstration, and we allowed the public to come up and ask their own personal questions. Psychic came up and said, I'm a psychic. Can I ask a question? And we said, sure, go right ahead. Ask anything you want. You know what Staticom's next sentence was? She has no abilities.
Wow.
and she turned around and walked away.
Unreal. How long did it take you to develop Staticom?
Well, we are on Staticom 3.0. It's now been 4.5 years. We started out with a system called Direct Radio Voice, which was developed by Friedrich Jurgensen, passed on to Konstantin Radeve. Konstantin Radeve taught a gentleman most well known for it named Marcello Bacci. That's where we started. We got that working, brought it into the 21st century, got rid of the radio. It became, the radio was removed, it became Staticom. Then we had Staticom 2.0. And now my wife and I have created and developed Staticom 3.0, which literally allows for back and forth, two-way communication, very similar to what you and I are having right now.
What's your background? Because you sound as if you're very technologically adapted.
Well, my background is in philosophy. I have a Bachelor of Arts in philosophy. I worked in electronic stores as a kid, fixing radios, televisions. That's where my electronics background came from. And my father was a physics professor for 46 years. So a lot of information.
Yeah.
And some of the toughest questions I've ever had to answer came from him.
So Staticom, is it available for public consumers?
Not yet.
No way.
Every time we think that we might be ready to do that, we always make an upgrade. We don't want to have to go back and do upgrades when it does eventually get released. We want it to be pretty much a final mode. We're not ready to do that yet. Staticom, from Staticom 2.0 to 3.0 was a huge increase in clarity and the length of the speech, as well as the time frame. 2.0 would drop off after a couple of minutes. 3.0 no longer does that. Plus, I've just partnered with a very well-known ITC researcher in Brazil. Contracts were signed, information under NDAs to produce 4.0, 5.0, 6.0, and as far as we can take it.
How large is Staticom?
Right now, it fits in a small briefcase, can be taken anywhere.
Wow. Fascinating, truly fascinating. I would imagine that there isn't a paranormal investigative group who can hardly wait to get their hands on their own.
There is a waiting list. We're asked that question probably 20 times a day. Hey, you ready to release it?
Yeah.
It's not that we don't want them to have it, because we would definitely like for them to be able to use it, prove they're getting the same type of responses we are. But until it's ready, and then we're also trying to get some scientific approval of it. Now, that's not an easy thing to accomplish, because science doesn't like to touch this stuff. They don't believe consciousness survives after death. When the body dies, the brain dies. They believe everything's over. But the evidence that it can produce, the fact that it is repeatable evidence, meaning even Marcello Bacci was brought into a scientific lab and tested, and they could not explain how he was getting these voices. Staticom is the same way and is repeatable.
Stand by, my friend. You and I have to take our break at the bottom of the hour. Dixon Nation, fascinating conversation. I still have a lot of questions. But if you're going to be in Halifax on November the 1st, you'll be able to talk to Tony yourself and get the answers from the man. And I would imagine your missus is going with you.
She is. We're going to run it live as well.
There you go. And that's November the 1st in Halifax, Nova Scotia. And that's the Halifax Paranormal Symposium. If you'd like more information about the Paranormal Symposium, go to www.ppri.com. And of course, Tony's website is right there at entityvoices.com. I'm Rob McConnell. This is the X Zone. We'll be back after. All right. Geez, my producer's telling me I better hurry up. So there we go. We'll be back. Don't go away.
Bigfoot, no need for fear. In the heart of the woods where legends.
Nation, prior to going to the break, I gave the wrong web address for the PPRI. It's ppri.net. So I'm sorry about that, Nation, but I'm sure that you're going to be going to that site over the next couple of weeks until we get to November the 1st, because this week we are having each and every show featuring one of the many experts and people who are doing so much to investigate the paranormal phenomenon here on the show. And we're very proud to be sponsors once again for the third year of the PPRI event. I must tell you, Tony, during the break, my mind was just spinning with what you have, what you're working on. Besides the paranormal investigators, who I'm sure are just frothing at the bit to get a hold of your invention, this would be a breakthrough for science. And I don't see why they would not want to work with you and to prove their credibility, because this would take humanity to the very next level.
I agree. And not even just, just moving up humanity's level and vibration and everything in between is huge. But even down to even much smaller things in science, like if spirits have a non-locality and they can answer from anywhere.
Exactly.
And that can get to me as quickly as it's getting there. How is that happening? What could that do for internet speeds? Then we notice that they won't give you future information. How do I know that? Well, because we've asked for the Powerball numbers 1,000 times. Crickets. They won't say a word. They won't give you anything future. but they will give you anything that's already happened. We can ask, what did I have for lunch last Wednesday? And I can get the right answer. I can ask, we did tests where we Googled 100 random internet questions from the past, something, there was one I remember, something about some rat mummy, and the answer came back correct. So we're thinking cold cases. This would be the ideal method for an agency, police or FBI, that don't know where to go next.
They supply, Staticom supplies the lead, shows
Correct.
them where to gather the evidence. And once they have the evidence, they're able to tie up the case. And if the perpetrator is still alive, they can then go for the grand jury, go for the indictment, and go for the arrest.
Exactly.
Fast. I'd love to ask the question: who killed JFK? Like, was it Oswald?
You know what? There's so many questions that I could spend my lifetime just asking. How were the pyramids built? Did Atlantis exist?
Yeah.
I mean, you could go on and on and on. But it's got to be a balance of developing it, making it, advancing it, and trying to break that materialistic code of science to take a look.
What about the religious aspect?
As far as which aspect of it? There are so many.
For example, I'm sure there are those theologians who would look at this as trying to bend the ear of God.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is probably one of the hardest projects we've ever worked on, because science won't listen to us. Religion thinks we're talking to demons. Skeptics think we're making it up and none of this is true. And even people who believe in it, they're mad at you because you haven't told them exactly how to do it. So challenges are absolutely overflowing. But religion is tough, because if this ever is released, and everyone has one in their home, this is going to break science down. This is going to put real pressure on religion, because some of the things we've been instructed and told don't match exactly. It's going to have an effect on things as simple as, let's say, court cases. If you could really bring up someone from the past and you're arguing over a will as to who's getting this house, and the person who wrote it can come back and go, no, the house is supposed to go. How does that change a court case? I have no idea. So
and then you're going to get the people who developed Siri and Google pissed off at you, because they're not going to need Siri or Google or Alexa. They're going to just get your system, put it down, ask the questions, and get the truth.
Right. And that's the thing we've noticed, is that I think probably 96 to 97% of the time, when we can go research an answer given, it is correct.
Really, I admire you. I
Thank
truly do, and I think it's about time that science, religion, and technology get on the same page, because the answers will not be found unless we work together. We've been butting heads since the beginning of time.
Correct.
And when you've got something like Staticom who can get to the truth, and the fact that the voices will not tell you anything that hasn't happened yet, to me, that is the biggest credible point.
Right.
Because whoever these entities are, and I don't know who they are, and I don't mean to be disrespectful.
No, you don't. We don't know either.
They don't want to change the future.
They can't. We believe they're universal laws. They can't affect the life you were put here to live, grow, and expand from, and they can't touch that.
You must be elated with this discovery.
We are absolutely amazed by it daily. I mean, there are things we ask and answers that reply that we're just like, oh my gosh. And then we can take those answers and fit them into, even if you look at science, started out materialistic, then you went to quantum physics. Now there's quantum consciousness, and even science is moving in a direction where consciousness is the basics of life itself. And we're so glad to see that.
I've been doing this show for 38 years, and I'll tell you something. In all those years, I don't think I've had 3 people come on the show that have got me as excited as you have with what you have.
I'm glad to hear that. And we're hoping the rest of the world follows that same path.
It's you know what? It's so simple. And maybe that's where the problem lies, is because you've taken what would be in Hollywood an oracle that people would go to and revere. And you're saying, well, no, no, hold on here. No, no. We're
Right.
working on it so that everyone can have it because
Correct.
everyone deserves the truth.
Absolutely. And the fact that, I mean, the world's full of problems, the way
Yeah.
we treat each other, wars. If we're all the same and all of the same consciousness, just fractional portions of it, we shouldn't be treating each other like this at all.
And then the devious side of me is thinking, can you imagine the Staticom in the White House?
Well, the White House or military
No,
or
no.
FBI.
Can you see Donald Trump arguing with it? Well, no, no, no. That's not right. I know. I know.
This would be one thing he might have trouble with arguing because
Oh,
I mean it is what it is. And like you said before, do we know exactly who we're speaking to? No, we don't. There's no spirit caller ID. We don't know.
have you ever thought? I'm sure you have because I love the way that you and your wife think in putting this project together. That many will perceive it as the voice of angels being given the answers by the voice of God.
Well, from someone of a very strong religious background, absolutely will probably think that
Yeah.
because that's what they were told, that's what they were trained, that's what they were informed how life works.
Yeah.
But if you flip it around to more of a scientific, even though science doesn't acknowledge consciousness, but it's starting to,
Right.
but if you put it in a conscious perspective, even on Earth, do you have layers of education with people? Yes, you do. Is that going to also be on the conscious or spiritual side? Yes, it is. You're going to have people that have been through more, learned more, experienced more, and be at different levels than others. So that makes perfect sense to me.
Can you just imagine having a Staticom in a class, and the Staticom is answering questions by the students? So let's say about what really happened during the American Revolution, or what happened really during World War II. Did Hitler really commit suicide? Did man land on the moon? My gosh.
Yeah, the questions go on and
Yeah.
on. The only concern is for every question asked and answered, there's 100 more questions that follow.
I
So
know. Isn't that
it-
wonderful?
It is.
It
It
is.
is. It absolutely is. But it never ends.
I can hardly wait. I can hardly wait to see how far this goes. Just imagine in industry if somebody's having a problem with a formula, all they need to do is ask Staticom, and Staticom could put them in touch with the person who came up with the original, or put them together with a bunch of scientists. This is phenomenal.
Yeah, and people asked us too, well, if the spirits are communicating with you and they can answer questions, did they help you build it? That answer is yes. And we have probably 20 different clips showing different ways. One time I was trying to adjust a knob and I made a simple question. I said, spirits, up or down?
Mhm.
They came back and said 7. I never told them there were numbers on the dial, but we turned it to 7. That knob has not moved for a year and a half because it works.
So, is it possible that these entities can actually see what we're doing in the present?
The question is whether they can physically see. We believe it's more that they're
Vibration.
retrieving information from my consciousness to a direct connection to universal consciousness. So I may not be necessarily telling them there's numbers on there, but
Right.
I'm looking at it and I said up or down. So my consciousness is going to portray that information directly back to them, saying there's numbers on here and
Wow.
they said 7. Also, I can hold up an object, like I
Mhm.
will hold up my glasses or a
Right.
spoon and say, spirits, what am I holding in my hand? And they'll answer and tell me, and correctly. But but I can also say what color's my shirt. But again, I can never break past my senses
Mhm.
or their senses to consciousness. Because if I
Ah.
say what color's my shirt, I'm thinking white and black because I just asked the question. The answer is automatically going through my consciousness. Well, that's giving them the answer immediately,
Extrasensory perception.
which is basically what it is.
Exactly. Please stand by. We've got to take our final break. Thank you very much for coming on the show. I thoroughly enjoy this, and please keep me abreast of what's going on.
You bet.
This is fascinating, and we'll be back on the other side of this break. Hey, Craig, over in Master Control, I got one of these. I won't need you anymore. Oh, stop crying. I wouldn't do that. Besides, it's your time to buy the beer and wings after the show. We'll be back on the other side of this break with our very interesting guest who's going to be at the Halifax Paranormal Symposium November the 1st. It's at the Halifax Tower Hotel and Conference Center. And if you'd like more information, ppri.net. And to find out more about the Staticom and our very interesting guest, Tony Rathman, visit
Entity Voices.
Voices.com. I'm excited about this. Thank you for joining us, and we'll be back on the other side as we wrap up this hour here in the X Zone with yours truly, Rob McConnell. Whatever you do, don't go away. Wow.
A monstrous flood came roaring down, and the waters ran so deep.
Welcome back, everyone. This is our final hour of tonight's show. I'd like to take this opportunity of thanking Elliot Van Dusen, our first guest tonight, and of course, my guest this hour, Tony Rathman, who I am sure, and you can take this to the bank, who Staticom is going to be one of the hottest pieces of equipment. No, it's more than that. It's a device? No, it's more than that. A bridge between this side of humanity and reality and consciousness to a side that I don't think we ever knew truly existed until now. And so, Tony, and to your wife, thank you very much for, first of all, coming on the show and the great work that you're doing.
Thank you very much. Appreciate being on. Anybody who's listening to this show or any of the ones this week, there's some fantastic guests speaking at the Halifax Paranormal Symposium. If you're in the area and can make it, try and check it out. You'll enjoy it.
I've had the pleasure of knowing Elliot for a number of years now, and I have a lot of respect for him, having been a police officer myself, and he was in the RCMP, a corporal.
Right.
And what Elliot and the people that he surrounds himself with are credible. You're not going to get the woo-woo crowd.
Right.
You're not going to get the people who see a ghost under, behind every rock and behind every tree. You're going to get people who are thinkers, who are credible, who are searching for the same thing, the truth.
Right. Exactly.
And now I can certainly see beyond a shadow of a doubt why Elliot, wants you there, because you're a truth seeker.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been 15 and a half years of work. This is the first device that's actually really producing some phenomenal results, but we are just as excited about it as hopefully the rest of the world will be.
I'm sure. And have you approached the Rhine Institute with your project?
We've approached everyone, and I don't know if it's because, half of them we approached either wouldn't touch us because I'm not a PhD and I don't have a university backing, or I don't have the name, or whatever the reason. But it's a shame because, even the average individual has talents, and we took our talents and made this work, and it does work. And we're going to continue to show it until somebody says, I want to take a look.
Well, yeah, I find it ironic that people like the Rhine Institute or Duke University, who profess to want to understand and to investigate the paranormal, are not jumping at this and say, yes, let's work with you. You've got something here. And you know what? What do they have to lose?
Nothing. We went to BICS, Bigelow Institute of Consciousness Study. We went to the Monroe Institute. We went to the Windbridge Institute. We went to Dr. Schwartz in the U of A.
Yeah.
Nobody would even respond.
Now, you see, to me, this is a crime against humanity.
I agree.
You're offering the answers to the world is it possible that people really don't want to know what the truth is? And that
That's
you and your wife are a threat with this unit?
Well, I mean, that is a possibility for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
So yeah, could that be possible? It could. It could.
Man alive. Well, I'm sure the people that go to the Halifax Paranormal Symposium are going to be thrilled. Um, man, the questions that are just buzzing around in my head, just talking to you. And what was it like the first time that you made the connection, that you knew it was unequivocally the truth, and that you and your wife were the contractors and construction crew of that bridge?
The first answer we ever got was mind blowing, and every answer after that just as mind blowing, because it went from a random question
Hmm.
to questions being asked from my grandfather, who passed away when I was like 13. He responded.
Really?
When my wife's lost her mother 3 or 4 years ago now from COVID, and she got her to reply in her native language of Tagalog. That was incredible. There's just things that happen over and over and over that make you go, wow, we have no true reality of what life and the afterlife are. And you get mind blown daily by it.
When these, what do you call them? Entities? Do you call them spirits? Do you call them guides?
Spirits or consciousness. Yep.
Okay. When these spirits communicate with you through the Staticom, are the voices of, let's say, your grandfather or the voice of your wife's mother?
Yes. The
Wow.
voices are distinct. They are individualized. When we were at Phenomicon a couple weeks ago,
Mhm.
we did a live demonstration. We had people literally fall off the chair down to their knees crying because they recognized the voice. They got the answer to the question they were asking and literally broke them down into tears.
To say that I'm amazed is an understatement.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I think anybody who tries to be a skeptic on this needs their head examined.
Well, we will open it to
Right.
anybody, because if there is an answer that we've missed on how this is occurring, we want to know, because this was done for research, not for monetary gain or for
Right.
anything else. So if we're wrong, we want to know it.
I can see this being such a great help to so many people who never had the opportunity of saying goodbye.
The grief factor alone can help tremendously. Grief is a terrible emotion to have to deal with, but to hear a message that says, hey, I'm still alive, I'm still around, you'll see me again, that's comforting.
It certainly is. I'm trying to think of any negative aspect.
Oh, there's lots.
There are, but the ones I'm thinking of are, well, for example, the religious aspect. Do they really want us to know the truth? No.
Probably not.
Because religion is a moneymaker.
Yep.
Big moneymaker.
And it's a control.
Exactly. For example, the Hyatt Regency hotel chain is owned by the Vatican. The Montreal Stock Exchange building is owned by the Vatican.
Right.
All this money, and yet there's so many poor people
Exactly.
who take 10% of, God bless them, their welfare checks and give it to the church to help those who need it.
Right.
And what would it be? How would it be if these people found out that they had been snookered all these years?
Exactly.
Holy cow. Then there's the other side. How many people could be cured by serious illnesses?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're talking about cold cases, and the list goes on and on and on and on.
It does.
All I can say is, number one, I'm very happy to have had the good fortune to speak to you tonight.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that very much.
And getting this fascinating Staticom out to our listeners around the world and our viewers around the world. I hope that someone listening or watching tonight's show, and we're going to be replaying this until after the symposium, goes to www.entityvoices.com and connects with you and says, Tony, I have the connections. Tony, I have the financial funding. Let's go, Tony. Let's go.
That would be an absolute dream come true for us. I mean, every bit of research, every bit of money to this point has come out of our own pocket.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about spending thousands of dollars a year versus what the next step from 3 to 4 to 5 or however far it goes, we're
Right.
talking tens of thousands or more. So yeah, that backing would be a huge push to moving this forward.
Mind you, there is that possibility, my friend, where
There is.
somebody may enter into a business agreement with you, buy the rights, and then shelve it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope to God that doesn't happen.
No, I would
I
prefer
truly
that
hope-
not to occur. Yeah.
What are you going to be talking about besides Staticom at the symposium?
We're going to go into depth on how we believe this is occurring, literally break down every step, how we believe what we had to change our idea of reality being, because the religious ones, the scientific ones are all punched with holes. And the evidence that we're getting from Staticom is pointing in a different direction, which is why we focused on analytic idealism. We're going to talk about that. We're going to show clip after clip of proof of responses they've given us, explaining why we went the road we went. And then, of course, we're going to run it live and let people there ask their own questions.
Fascinating. If people would like to contact you, they go to your website. I understand that you also have social media sites. You've got a YouTube channel. You're on TikTok.
Yep.
TikTok, and Instagram. Which is the best way to contact you?
Facebook's probably the easiest. Just look up Tony Rathman. You'll come right to it.
Tony, I wish I had more time to speak to you tonight, but I would love to have you back on in the
Anytime.
future.
Anytime, Rob. It would be an absolute pleasure.
Now, would you mind, I've been in this business a number of years, would you mind if I gave your contact information to people that I think and believe could be a help to you?
I would be honored. Go right ahead.
All right, Tony, take care of yourself. Thank you so much for sharing your time. Exo Nation, if you're in Halifax, if you're in St. John, New Brunswick, if you're anywhere and you want to see Tony, if you want to be part of the Halifax Paranormal Symposium, find out more information at www.ppri.net. Tony, God bless you. Thank you for everything you do. Please give my best to your wife. And if there's anything we can do on this side, let me know. I'll be glad to help you any way I can.
Thank you, Rob. It's been an absolute pleasure. Have a wonderful night.
You take care, my friend. All right, Exo Nation, we'll be back tomorrow night at 10 o'clock as once again we cross the time-space continuum to this place that I call the X Zone. It's a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. It's a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. Eastern until midnight, right here on Tuber, right here on the X Zone Broadcast Network, and of course, right here on your hometown radio, Classic 1220 CFAJ AM, here in St. Catharines, Ontario. To my wife, my best friend, and my senior producer, Laura, thank you, sweetheart. Craig over in Master Control, always great pleasure working with you, my friend. So until tomorrow night, just remember, we are our brother's keeper, and always keep your eyes to the sky and your heart to the light. Good night, everyone.
In the quiet night, where the whispers call, shadows move upon the Halifax wall. Questions linger, the truth takes flight, searching the unseen in the dark of night. and how